Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming out. My name is Bill Zantz. I'm the Executive Director of the Illinois Valley Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am appreciative of all of you coming out. Right side, so my right, your left. Can you all hear okay? Too loud over here. Okay. I will talk quieter as everybody quiets down. Is that better? Okay, now you know how my family feels at home. We had to split the microphones into 3 groups this year, so if you were with us last year, I'll address the elephant right away. We had microphones go out, so we've got microphones split, left, center, and right this year. So want to make sure if you're on either side, you can hear. Middle, great seat selection. Everybody else, again, if you can't hear, please let me know. We'll do what we can. Appreciate everybody coming out this morning. Thought that we got lucky with spring break, with Easter being pushed back a little bit. Thought that we would have avoided the traffic. The good news is we're still pulling people to the area. The lodge is full today. They've got a lot of visitors, a lot of tourists in town, which is not a bad thing. It just meant you had to walk a little bit further to get in here. So thanks for making the walk. Made sure to hold off the weather until tomorrow for everybody. But appreciate y'all being here. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody could please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Elected officials, don't sit down too soon. If you are an elected public official, please stand up and be recognized for the work that you do. Again, elected officials, whether you're city, county, whatever it is, please stand and be recognized. Thank you all, and appreciate you being here. Thank you to our board and ambassadors. If you are an IVAC board member or an ambassador, please stand. Thank you all for the time and dedication you give this organization. To our staff here at Grand Bear, thank you for everything. You've got 200 plus people that you're taking care of today. Not an easy task by any means, but we appreciate the work that you are doing. If you do need anything, the folks running around in black are here to help. Flag them down, let them know, and they will take care of you. Also want to thank Mike Sabatini with One-on-One Media Solutions for the live stream today. Mike is providing that live stream where folks that couldn't make it out of the office are able to see what's going on, but it can also be viewed post-presentation, so we can follow up and see it after today. So Mike, thank you for your service. And then thank you to the mayors. Thank you to all of you and city representation. Mayor Doelk from Mendota had an out-of-town appointment that came up that he unfortunately could not reschedule, but Miss Annie Short is stepping in to provide an update on Mendota and make sure that you all are informed. So Annie, thank you for stepping up and taking that seat. Thank you very much for that. Thank you to Penny. So Penny, if you saw at check-in, really, she makes sure that this event and many other happen. I get to be on stage, she gets to be behind the scenes, and we'll try to flip-flop that at one point, whether she likes it or not. But Penny, thank you for everything that you do for the organization and making these programs continue to work. Just a couple of notes before we pass off the mic to the folks that you're really here to see. This week we have our drawdown event. It's our annual drawdown fundraiser. That is this Friday. There are 10 tickets remaining. So if you are interested, 10 tickets left. Penny has them, but you $50 to get in enters you at a chance for $2,000. Great investment for any of my bankers or investment folks. Where can you turn 50 into 2,000 in this market, other than the IVAC drawdown? So if you're interested, please let us know. We can get you some tickets. Make sure that you're there for that. It'll be a great evening. We got the golf outing coming up June 1st. It's crazy that we're already talking about June 5th, I apologize. First Thursday in June is what the note said, June 5th. And then just so you know, if you saw out front, we did print our new guides this year. So we have new regional guides that are available. They're on the front table where you checked in at. If you want to take one of those home, that's what they're there for. Please do. look through it and see all the exciting things that this area continues to offer. Last piece, some of you are going to be upset. There won't be a post-survey sent out. I know, very disappointing. No survey following up an event that I've run. What I do ask, if you do have feedback, whether it's good, bad, or in the middle, please call, stop by the office, send an email. We love to hear from you all. We do this event for each of you. Without you, there's no reason to do this. So we want to make sure that this continues to be a value add. I know it's the middle of the day, it's a couple hours from your busy lives. So we want to make sure that you want to continue to come back, and your feedback really helps make sure that we do what's right for y'all. With that, I'm going to pass the microphone over to our first mayor of the afternoon, Mayor Stuart from Utica, to let him kick things off. So, Mayor David Stuart, thank you.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank IVAC for inviting me today to this event. I've been doing this for, I think, 8 years almost now. It's a wonderful event to be able to come up here and speak and give you all the updates on what Utica's done throughout 2024 and kind of what we have planned going forward into 2025. Obviously, the main project that headlined 2024 was the Market on Mill Retail Plaza. It was heavily funded by the Rebuild Downtown and Main Streets grant that the village was awarded back in 2022. So it did take us a while to get things off the ground and running, but we did do that. It's been a great project for us. So I kind of give you a little bit of history as, how did this project all come together? The village had acquired a large area, the northwest end of Mill Street, after the tornado occurred in 2004. And then after nearly 20 years, the village was able to acquire the last couple small parcels of property to make that area whole. Until that was complete, it was hard to make that market that property. Main reason for that was the challenge we faced was the entire area is in a floodplain. Because of that, it's difficult to market it to developers. No one was interested in having to carry flood insurance on that property, building it up out of the floodplain. So the village saw kind of an opportunity there to develop that area when the rebuild grant became available. So now jump ahead to 2024. Ground was officially broken on the retail plaza in July. So it's going to consist of 12 buildings that are all for small business retail. I'm happy to say that we do have all the buildings filled. All the tenants are very excited to make the shops their own and have a very successful first season. The season will officially kick off on Friday, May 2nd, with a grand opening scheduled for Saturday, May 3rd. There is a chance we'll do a soft opening the weekend before. That's Utica's Sweet Stroll weekend. So they may do a few of them may do a kind of a trial weekend to see how it goes, and then we'll kick off the following weekend. So while working on the Market on Mill project, the village did also put a focus on the areas that surround it. We did repave some of the streets nearby. We also added some much-needed parking. That was a major issue from talking to a lot of people when we were building this area, because what previously was just a large parking lot was now going to be a developed area to utilize for business. So we knew we had to do something when it came to parking. So we bought some property and we took that area and made it a very large parking lot behind the market itself. So before there was no defined parking. All it took was a couple cars to come in there and park the wrong way, and you would only have maybe 20 cars, 30 cars. Now we've got a defined parking where we have, I think, right around 80 parking spots total between that area, and then on Mill Street we defined some additional parking, as well as by the library we did that too. So what do we have left to complete on this project? We're getting real close to the finish line here. The last piece that we really have to do is the public restrooms. So they'll be delivered next week, and then our supervisor of Public Works in his department will go ahead and finish that out, and we'll have everything ready to go there. So we've really enjoyed seeing this project come together. It's been a long road to see that developed, but it really adds to the beautification of our village. I mean, it's just done extremely well. It's got endless possibilities when it comes to attracting visitors, and it gives people one more reason to maybe stay that extra night and enjoy this area when it comes to the tourism aspect of things. So we're very excited to get that off the ground and running this season, and we do hope that you will all attend it and see what we've done with that area. So I could talk about the market for a very long time, but I tried to cut it as much as I could there. So what does the village have planned for 2025? We do have some fun events for kids and families that we do plan on using the Market on Mill Retail Plaza for. We did take a large section of that area and made it into a turf section. We also plan to build a band shelter off one of our well houses at some point, and we'll utilize that for movie nights, kind of some themed nights, arts and craft days, maybe have some pop-up vendor days, just kind of a few ideas that we're kicking around. But we plan to have a lot of activities up there to promote the area and to have the residents of the community and their kids and families, and as well as people vacationing, to be able to come and enjoy themselves. We're also looking at doing a streetscape program in 2025, which will see a lot of the village streets on the east end of town get complete. Neighborhood parks is another focus for us in 2025. We are going to be adding a couple of soccer goals to both Burgess Park and Magnuson Wren's Park for Bill here. After speaking with multiple residents, we've learned that soccer has become more and more popular in this area, and it's something the family and the neighborhoods want to see, so we're more than happy to get that done and take care of that for them. We're also going to add a half basketball court to one of our parks in the subdivisions. We did one in one of our other parks a few years ago, and it's become real popular with kids in that specific subdivision, so we thought that we'd do another one for them there as well. The village did apply for the ITEP grant last year to add additional sidewalks on the southwest end of Route 178. If awarded, this will tie in both the north and the south end on both sides of the community, so more to come on that, but we're hopeful that we'll be considered for this grant. We're also working on redesigning the area around the village hall and the community center. So this is located right in the heart of our village. This is where our village hall is. We took the property in 2021. We purchased it from the old Waltham School, and we made that our village hall and offices. So we want to try to redo that area, change the whole layout in the front of that, and accommodate for more parking that is needed to meet the demand that we have for that. So once that whole area is completed, we'll have roughly another 90 additional parking spots in that area of town as well. So we're currently in the design phase for that. We do not know if we'll take that out to bid for construction this year, or if we'll wait and do that later on in 2027. That'll be based off the events that we have. Marketing is another area that we're working on this year. The village is entering into a partnership with Star Rock Lodge, Heritage Corridor, and LaSalle County through the LaSalle County Tourism Program to have 2 commercials made to promote the area. There will be a spring and a fall one. By doing this, we'll tap into a new market and promoting in areas that we have not done before. That'll probably be 2 hours plus away from the village. And we're excited about this partnership, and we want to work with everyone involved in the project, and we expect to have the first commercial done hopefully sometime in mid-May. And then last thing I want to talk about is some upcoming events that we have. I mentioned earlier that our grand opening of the Market on Mill will be on Saturday, May 3rd, so I do invite everyone to attend that event and see all the hard work that the 12 new businesses that are coming in have done to make these their own units. Mill Street Dining is officially going to return this year, and it will kick off on May 8th, just in time for Mother's Day. Mill Street Dining was introduced back in 2020, and it has become a huge success year after year. The downtown businesses put much work and effort into this, and it really shows with the amount of traffic that it gets. Utica is very fortunate to be able to do something like this. It's years ago, Mill Street was originally Route 178. So when it was realigned, IDOT transferred over that street to the villages, so that way it was now a village-owned street. We were able to do what we wanted to do with that. So in 2018, we installed some overhead lighting, and then Mill Street Dining followed a couple years after that. So I know the businesses are really excited for outdoor dining to begin. They're ready for the weather to break and have the summer months ahead of them. We'll be hosting Vintage Wine again this year, the 3rd week in September. This is the largest wine festival that the state of Illinois has, and we're proud to be hosting the event. It brings visitors from all over the state and also surrounding states, and we enjoy working with vintage staff, and we're excited to bring that event back to everyone. And then I couldn't be up here and not talk about Burgoo. Everybody knows Burgoo. Burgoo Festival will be on October 11th and 12th this year. Continues to grow more and more every year. It's the largest event that is held in the village, and it's also the LaSalle County Historical Society's largest fundraiser, so it really helps them run their business throughout the next entire calendar year. We'll also have the Veterans Day Parade again this year. That'll be on November 2nd. It's been an honor to have that parade in the village for the last several years, and we're going to continue that tradition as well. And then last thing I just would like to talk about, I sat up here, I gave you the updates about what we've done and how we're going to do them, but I'm just a guy with the microphone. I'm just a guy telling you what's been done. It really starts with my village board, the ideas that they come up with or the ideas that the staff may have. It all starts with the elected officials and the board of trustees. Without them, we can't do these projects. We're very grateful, and I'm very grateful to have a village board that is willing to work with us, and they really see the advantage to these projects coming into town. So I cannot thank them enough. I'm also surrounded by the best staff that I could ever ask for. They do a tremendous job for me. And again, without them, none of these projects come to life. They are the ones that truly deserve the round of applause, and I thank them for everything that they do. So that's really all I have to talk about today. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming today and listening to the updates we have on Utica.
David, thank you very much. I appreciate that. A couple things to piggyback off of David's piece. For Market on Mill, one of the reasons that as a chamber we're excited about that, little insider's information, part of that application was they asked those businesses if they would be interested in expanding outside of those markets, and if so, where. And when I got to see some of those applications, they didn't just say expanding in Utica. They had plans for growth in Ottawa or LaSalle or Peru or Oglesby, Spring Valley, right? They looked at other communities in this region to then go to a full brick and mortar if they can gain the business that they want to at this Market on Mill. So that's a project that's not just important to Utica, but to the region as a whole as we look at business development. The other piece, kind of piggybacking off of the Market on Mill, Lemonade Day, which is the youth entrepreneurship program that we run with the local schools, will be May 3rd during that grand opening. So kind of to steal a little bit from you, Dave, but we invite everybody to come out and support those kids and those businesses on May 3rd. So we appreciate the village allowing us to host that and having that space this year to have those youth entrepreneurs set up. So David, thank you again. With that, we will move to our Ottawa Mayor, Mayor Hasty, to share his update on the City of Ottawa.
Thanks, Bill. First of all, thanks to Bill and IVAC for giving us this opportunity to discuss this today. Last Thursday, I gave the City of Ottawa State of the City address, which was about 40 minutes long, I was told. And this one's about 5 minutes long, so you guys are getting the good Cliff Notes version of it. The total budget, the total budgeted general fund revenues for fiscal year 2025 are $24.9 million, an increase from fiscal year 2024, which were projected at $22.5. The city has also effectively utilized tax increment financing districts and enterprise zones incentives to encourage new business development. The city effectively operates its business type activities, primarily its water and wastewater treatment operations, as well as its NCAT municipal bus service at near break even to a modest profit. The City of Ottawa receives grant funding through state and federal transit programs to operate LaSalle County's public transportation provider, NCAT. Anyone can ride going just about anywhere as long as the ride is in NCAT's service area in hours. All NCAT's vehicles are lift equipped, making a fleet of 33 buses and vans ADA accessible. Ridership continues to increase, and NCAT has completed yet another record-setting year and is on track to do so again this fiscal year. Current trends suggest that NCAT will finish fiscal year 2025 with over 76,000 rides. Last year has been a year of transition and continued growth for the Ottawa Police Department. First, we had the retirement of Chief Brent Rolson, and Sergeant Brendan Donahue, and we appointed our new chief, Mike Cheatham, in January of 2025. The City of Ottawa Police Department remained fully staffed with 39 sworn men and women, along with 2 department canines. Officers responded to 19,158 calls for service, which was a slight increase from previous year. When you do the math on that, that's 52 calls a day or 2 every hour. The fire department acquired a new ambulance in 2024 from Osage Ambulance, aimed to enhance its emergency medical services and response capabilities. This state-of-the-art ambulance is equipped with advanced medical technology, improved patient care features, and enhanced safety measures for both responders and patients. The past year has seen the Ottawa Fire Department respond to 4,268 calls for service, encompassing fire suppression, medical emergencies, technical rescues, and hazardous material incidences. Our crews responded to 3,577 emergency medical calls with an average response time of 4 minutes, 38 seconds. The fire division responded to 691 fire-related incidents. Moving over to our 2024 street maintenance program, there are 2 big projects we're working on. The first is the Green Street Elevation Project, with the construction phase beginning in April of 2024 and an expected completion date of August 2025. This project will raise Green Street above the 500-year flood elevation level and allow 2 ways of egress for East Side residents and the high school during a flood. It also includes a wide sidewalk and room for bicycles to the I&M Canal towpath. Then there's the East Stevenson Road, Baker Road, and MBL Drive reconstruction project, which will reconstruct roadways and make significant draining improvements. The project is currently in the design phase, with construction expected to begin in May of 2025. Funding for this is part of a 2022 $2.5 million grant from the EDA's American Rescue Plan. With that said, I'm excited to share some updates about the progress with our parks over the past year. We've seen significant changes and developments that are sure to enhance our community's outdoor spaces. Peck Park underwent major transformation last summer, including sports-themed playground with a poured-in-place surface, splash pad with a shelter, basketball court, 2 tennis courts, and 4 pickleball courts. Over at Allen Park, we completed renovations funded by a $506,000 IDNR OSLID grant. These improvements include an accessible sidewalk leading to the upper plateau, where you'll find a playground, hillside play spaces, a shelter, a bench swing, and a stunning view of the Illinois River. By the west entrance are 2 designated gaming areas, one featuring bag toss stations and the other equipped with chess and checker tables and ping pong tables. Another exciting announcement is Bill's Barking Lot, the city's new dog park. Last summer, we officially revealed the location at 401 East Lafayette Street, and the park has been named in honor of the memory of Bill Walsh Sr. We're thrilled to share that funds for the park's amenities were raised through Bill's Barktoberfest, a fun, family-friendly canine event. In addition to Bill Walsh's family, has generously donated $50,000 towards park improvements, and we are grateful for their support. And construction on that actually just started yesterday. Last, we recently received a $636,000 IDNR open space land acquisition and development grant to acquire land for a new sports complex, which will soon enrich our community's recreational options and set the stage for future economic development. Event season is quickly approaching, and just as in years past, I'm excited to share that there will be no shortage of things to do. Between now and the end of the year, the City of Ottawa will host over 35 different events. Some of the highlights include the return of the Third Friday Market, Ottawa Family Pride, Music in the Park, and Jordan Block Jams, and a reimaged wine festival. And of course, our hallmark tradition, the Festival of Lights Parade and the Kris Kringle Market. Almost every weekend in Ottawa, there's something to do, and I encourage you to see for yourself. There have been a few projects regarding industry over the last year. The 55,000 square foot Amazon Distribution Center on Technology Drive in the Ottawa Industrial Park is nearing completion. This facility is referred to as a last mile distribution center, with haulers in the morning and delivery drivers operating out of the facility throughout the day. Then there's the Northern Illinois Plasters and Cement Masons building on Warehouse Drive and the new 1,800 square foot ADM Fleeting Operations Office. It was a lot of hard work, spearheaded by our Economic Development Director, Dave Noble, but last year we were able to extend 4 TIFs for an additional 12 years. That's the Canal TIF, our North TIF, the Dayton TIF, and the East TIF. In addition to this, the state recently authorized River Edge Recovery Zone for Ottawa. A River Edge Recovery Zone program helps revive and redevelop environmentally and economically challenged properties adjacent to the rivers in Illinois. They provide several incentives to property owners, including building materials, sales tax exemption, and new construction job tax credits. I'm very pleased to discuss some of the new organizations formed within the last year. The Ottawa Center for the Arts have plans to bring a wide arrangement of artistic talent to Ottawa that includes theater, cinema, visual arts, concerts, choirs, and orchestras. In January, they closed on the acquisition of the Open Table Church and have been in negotiations for the acquisition of the Christ Episcopal Church. Both of these locations will allow for a vibrant downtown cultural center to be located directly across from the historic Washington Park and Reddick Mansion. Then there's the Trinity Rose Montessori School, scheduled to open at the Trinity Lutheran Church on Ottawa's south side. The Trinity Rose Montessori School is committed to fostering a more peaceful world by providing a foundation where young individuals can reach their full intellectual, social, and emotional potential. This is accomplished through a balance of structure and freedom, meaningful work, and a strong emphasis on promoting peace with opportunity to act as stewards of humanity and the planet. I would like to point out that while other communities across America are seeing these beautiful pieces of architecture be lost and torn down and properties being turned into gas stations or worse, Ottawa is finding a use for these spaces that will enrich our community and expand our combined potential. The city acquired a number of new grants over the last year, totaling over $5.1 million. Some of these include a $118,000 DCEO Site Readiness Grant, a $2 million DCEO PADS Shelter Grant, $650,000 CDBG Housing Rehabilitation Grant, and a $250,000 IDNR YMCA Flood Buyout Match Grant. There was a $15,000 CLG South Bluff History Survey and $50,000 Ameren Electrification Grant for EV chargers for the public. We helped get over $200,000 in EV charger grants for Quality Inn, Super 8, and Heritage Harbor. The city has also been working with the US EPA regarding technical assistance for the former Peltier factory to help develop a viable plan for the property's future. And the fire department received $231,000 SAFER grant for fire department staffing, $273,000 for air packs, $31,000 for REP IEMA grant for radios, and a $10,000 state's attorney opioid fund grant for stair chairs. Grants in a process include our $2 million old YMCA property flood buyout grant, which has been identified for further review, a $1 million fire station grant procured by Congresswoman Underwood, and a $3+ million amphitheater grant. Speaking of the amphitheater, our downtown waterfront. May of last year, the YMCA opened their new facility on the Illinois riverfront. This $30 million project far exceeded expectations and nearly doubled its membership in the first month. The project has worked as a catalyst and anchor to the long-envisioned riverfront development plan. Design has been ongoing with Ginkgo Planning and Lamar Johnson for our park and amphitheater. We continue to meet and discuss the finer details of the project, including the additional infrastructure of streets, sidewalks, and green and paved surfaces. Attention has been focused on making sure that this is a riverfront that is largely open to the public, but also flexible in allowing us to maximize its potential through ticketed and limited events. The city contracted feasibility studies for both the amphitheater and Riverfront Hotel, produced by Stone Planning and HVS Consulting and valuation respectively. The study for a waterfront hotel proposed an upscale select service lodging facility containing 100 rentable units with amenities such as fast casual dining, conference space and hall, and parking. The study for the amphitheater found the market would support a new facility in downtown Ottawa with an appropriate capacity likely in the 3,000 to 4,000 person range. The facility should be multi-purpose. While it is expected to host touring concerts, we expect the facility to be able to host a wide range of other uses, including other entertainment and community events such as tribute cover bands, symphony performances, children's programming, performing arts, movie screenings, various festivals, and anything else you can think of. I'm very pleased to announce that the design is nearing completion with a look that calls on not only our two rivers, but of the many bluffs we cherish like Buffalo and Starved Rock. Next will be the engineering plans with earth moving this fall and construction expected to begin next spring. And in closing, I would just like to echo the same things that the president to my left had just said. None of this happens by the folks that are up here. There's a huge staff of city support and other elected officials who go into every decision, and it really does take an entire community to make any of these things work. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank everyone at the City of Ottawa and the people who work with the City of Ottawa for making sure that all of this can get done. Thank you.
Mayor Hasty, thank you very much for that. If you haven't been to Ottawa to explore the parks there, I happen to be a father of two, so we do get over there and check it out. There's been a lot of work done. The other piece that it continues to awe me, this is public participation here. Who in the last year has heard or been guilty of saying, there's just nothing to do here? Be honest, raise your hands if you've heard that or said that. Okay, one person is honest. Everybody else is eating. I will tell you, you've got two presenters so far, and there's over 4 dozen different events that have been mentioned or access to. That's just 2 cities of the 7 that are up here. So if you're looking and you're not finding, I'll put you in the right direction on where to find those things, because these communities are doing a lot to make sure that there is activity for families, for adults, for a combination happening throughout the year. So congratulations to both of you really on that, and thank you again, Mayor, for the update. Mayor Grove, we will turn it over to you to hear about the city of LaSalle.
Good afternoon, everybody. A little loud? Whew. All right. Thank you. Thanks for the sound check. I want to start off by thanking IVAC, Grand Bear, my fellow mayors up here, leaders, my dream team right over here. As the mayor said, you have to have a support team behind you. And without that team there, I can't do this. We can't be successful in LaSalle. So thank you guys very much. Definitely appreciate it. And again, everybody in this room for being leaders in our area, whether in baking or schools or service or healthcare, insurance. We need everybody working together to make things happen. So thank you very much. Real quick history on me. This is my 22nd year with the city of LaSalle, 16 as mayor, 6 as alderman. First time I won was in 2001. I decided to run for mayor in 2005. After my term was up, the mayor's term was also up. So I knew win or lose, I'd either be with the city still or else I'd be back in the studio audience. And so 2005, I was defeated by, came in 3rd place out of 4. Mayor Washkowiak beat me. So again, I kind of learned, stayed back, watched from the public gathering part in our city hall chambers, and then ran again for alderman in 2007, and fortunate in 2009 to run for mayor, and then actually I was fortunate enough to win that time, so I've been mayor since. Kind of my history, 1985, class of St. Hyson's, LaSalle graduating class, Catholic school. We combined with LaSalle Catholic at the time, and then since then, I think now we're looking at 1 Catholic school coming up this next fall for LaSalle, Peru, Oglesby, Spring Valley students, some Utica students. So it's amazing how we're seeing a lot of people come together and make things work. And I guess that's just how it is now, our age. 85, St. Hyson's, 89. Let's have some classmates here from LP out there, class of 89. 91 from IVCC. Truly is a place so close to have us here. It's a great option for me, and worked good for my family. And then 93 ISU Business Administration. Why involved in politics? A lot of people are asking right now. I guess I had a lot of example from my folks. My grandpa was 20 years at LP School Board. Very honored to see his name on one of the plaques at LP. My dad was the school board president at the grade school level. Obviously, my mom was very involved with PTA. But one thing that really hits home, again, I'm gonna go back to LP, is Ron Bird. Anybody have a teacher with Ron Bird? I know also as a community member, Ron is awesome. So he said something to our class that kind of resonated. He said, hey, some of you folks will be graduating, you'll be going out to college, some of you will be going into the workforce, some of you will be going into the services. He goes, but no matter what you do, don't forget to come back and take care of home. You know, contribute back to your hometown in some way to give back. So that kind of resonated with me and stuck with me. I also remember going to the polls with my parents as a family. Probably the first time I went was Jim Brady was our mayor of LaSalle. Had a deep admiration for Mayor Brady because he treated every taxpayer dollar like it was his own. He ran it like a business. Since then, I've watched closely and learned from all our LaSalle mayors. Mayor Murphy had a vision for the East End expansion. That he set the table for Mayor Art Washkowiak to continue that path, and then Mayor Washkowiak focused on downtown improvement. In 2009, I was able to defeat Mayor Washkowiak to become the 40th mayor of LaSalle. When that happened, Mayor Washkowiak did not vanish. He stayed to hand the torch to me in a professional manner, which I definitely appreciated. He did it because he is both a man of good character and deeply cared about the city. I would challenge any mayor, including myself, to do the same if they're defeated in the upcoming election. We are all here because we love our communities, and we should do our best to leave the communities in the good hands of the next mayor coming up. Just as these previous mayors passed to us their successes, we on stage also inherited the hardships that our cities face. In LaSalle, our focus shifted to overcoming financial hardships such as rising pension liabilities, I think everybody can relate to that, costs of unfunded mandates, aging infrastructure, and shrinking populations. Residents deserve a good quality of life, job opportunities, and essential city services. Those are all important things and take a good team of people to balance. I feel these priorities are the three most important pillars, I like to call them, of city government. Number one, the city's infrastructure, which means roads, water, sewer, waste services, as well as emergency services with police, fire, and ambulance. The second pillar is the city employees. I think one of the most important things as mayor is to be responsible for us to manage a team of people who provide these services. Employee attraction, retention, and job satisfaction, let me repeat that, employee attraction, retention, and job satisfaction are paramount importance. I think in everything, any business, right? I have a strong team who is with me today, and I'm thankful for the jobs they do. I believe the third pillar of city government is quality of life. Our parks, hiking, biking, walking paths, along with recreational programs, pickleball, disc golf, and exercise equipment have been a focus of our city for years. Thankfully, we have a team that worked hard to receive grant funding to accomplish some of these quality of life additions in our city. Since 2009, we had many financial achievements worth noting. We stopped the practice of bonding and borrowing and drastically increased the funding to fire and police pension funds. Nothing very pretty, but things that needed to get done. To date, we're on path to be fully funded in those funds well before the 2040 deadline of 90% funded. We have paid cash for buildings, improvements, and equipment, taking a fiscally conservative approach of only purchasing what we need. Emergency service has also been a focal point since I became mayor in 2009. We added our own ambulance service, and our ambulance fund has grown to over $900,000 in reserves. So some people are like, wait, let's use that money for curbs, sidewalks. Unfortunately, we cannot. That is for the ambulance service only. I wish we could do that. We're now taking the next step and hire our own full-time fire medics. This growth could not come at a better time as we all face significant problems with the shortages in manpower of these positions. Our police department, like many others here, have also overcome staffing challenges as we have responded financially to the mandates to add body cameras and keep pace with technology advances in the industry. I'm proud of our police and fire departments for the jobs they do every day. It does not go unrecognized. They deal with things that sometimes we're very happy we don't have to deal with. I know the fire departments were all in full force the other day on Water Street. In Public Works, we have renovated a building on the city's north side, freed up a building in our downtown for hopefully retail development and for housing, and we look forward to converting to sales tax generating space. We are completing a citywide water meter replacement plan, and our laborers are doing the heavy lifting on this project, as well as keeping up with water and wastewater mandates. I'm proud of our team and the job they do. We've got a lot of responses positive from our residents as these folks are going in their homes, changing out the water meters. When you turn on your faucet, flush your toilet, or drive to work on a snowy day, it's our Public Works team that brings these things to you. Things that I know I'm guilty of it, we kind of all take for granted. We've added pickleball to Hegler Park. I've yet to participate in pickleball. And Rotary Park, as well as exercise equipment, walking and hiking paths, park equipment, a new pool liner, and state-of-the-art disc golf course. We'll continue to find ways to access Prairie Lake and hope to keep the growth of connectivity of walking, biking paths all over the LaSalle and Peru area. Our Parks Department has done an excellent job in contributing to quality of life improvements in the area. I definitely appreciate it. Economic development was one of the most challenging departments that we are all responsible for. Unfortunately, we cannot just order things off a menu. Car dealerships and hotels don't just come by saying you want one. I think everybody agrees up there, right? Portillos and Canes aren't places that you can just say, hey, want to come here and show up and build a building for us? Our work in economic development office is done with things you don't see. TIF districts that can offer financial incentives need to be in place, and we appreciate our schools who are partners with us in the TIF districts. LaSalle has also managed a RIP grant, which is our facade grant, which many downtown storefronts have taken advantage of. We feel this grant has greatly contributed to the improvements that have taken place in our downtown. Some people say, hey, you gave that money for that front of their building. Is that welfare for the individual? I say no, because a lot of times they're doing that front, but they're also doing a lot of work inside the building that a lot of people don't see until they're in that building shopping or visiting it. Another piece of attracting development to the city is working with and supporting the businesses we already have here. I call them our core. As their successes can attract other developers looking to succeed. We do this by listening to our business community, most notably by partnering with groups like LaSalle Business Association and LaSalle Downtown Merchants. I'm proud of these successes and partnerships and truly hope becomes the business owners of our community. Engineering, building inspection, code enforcement, community development, and administrative support are key contributors to the overall successes of city departments. I have met with me today a team who manages all these things. I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the city I live in. I'm proud of every resident that chooses to be a part of our community and wishes to contribute to the success of LaSalle. As mayor, I hope to continue to build on these successes and hope to enjoy you all here again next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Grove. The point that you made about coming back and contributing, I think as I look across this room, there's a lot of folks that either came back or relocated here, but you're all doing that. You're all contributing to this region. And as director at the chamber, and as I share the stage with these leaders, I know that we all appreciate that. It's not easy work, especially in a rural area sometimes, but appreciate the work and effort that everybody up here and in the audience does do. Portillo's and Canes, by the way, I know I had a salad for lunch today, but if any of you land a Portillo's or a Canes, I would gladly be first in line, in addition to all the other amazing local restaurants that we have. So thank you for that, Jeff. Mayor Grove, appreciate it, the updates on the development, the work that's being done by you and your team to make sure that LaSalle gets to where you and the rest of the group want it to be. Mayor Kolowski, we will pass the torch to you, sir, to give us an update on the city of Peru.
Well, thank you for everybody for being here today. My name is Ken Kolowski. I'm the mayor of the city of Peru. I'm going to echo what these guys have been saying. I'm going to do a little bit differently, though. I'm going to recognize everybody at my table here, are part of our team. I'll start with the alderman, Alderman Jason Edgecombe. If you guys don't mind raising your hands real quick. Alderman Lukosius, Alderman Tiemann, Alderman Marino. Aldermen that are not here today is Alderman Payton, Osatnik, and Ballard. Then I'd like to recognize the rest of my team. Jeff King, he's our fire marshal, fire chief, public service director. Chief Raymond, City of Peru Police Chief. Tracy Mitchell, our finance director. Adam Thorson, Parks and Recs director. Kim Reese, HR director. People that are not here, Jackson Powell, treasurer. Eric Carl, city engineer. Scott Schweigert, city attorney. Kevin Minnick, electric department director. Stephen Rounds, our IT director. And Dave Bartley is our city clerk. I tell you this because I get asked a lot, why is Peru being so successful? Okay? It's because we're a team. It's that simple. It's everybody at City Hall, Public Works, Public Services, the electric department, our police officers, our firefighters, this table right here. We're a team. Who's ever watched the movie Miracle, the 1980 USA hockey team, the movie about that? The coach Herb Brooks. He told the players, the name on the front of the jersey is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back. And that's what we do in Peru. We pull the rope in the same direction. We're all in this together for the citizens and for our city. So with that said, I'll brief you guys on a few things that have happened in the last year or so. Obviously our GAF, they're full manufacturing now. It's wonderful up there in our industrial park. OSF has opened up and continuing to grow, which is great. We've welcomed in Popeyes and Ollie's, and Five Below just finally broke ground here last week. We're celebrating our Taste of Illinois Valley. Made our 4th of July really special. I'll touch this one quickly, and I'll come back to it maybe when the questions are. We got a 3-year contract extension with the Pistol Shrimp, and I think within questions we'll talk about that for tourism. And then the signature event. The TBM is nothing short than amazing. These volunteers, they start their meetings the day after the event ends, and it has become the City of Peru's signature event. I can't thank everybody enough for that. We just posted a promotional video that'll be going national, and if you've seen it, it's amazing to bring more people into the region. We made a lot of city park improvements. Our Polhar Crossing subdivision, 20 new homes have been built up there since we opened that up. And then our infrastructure. We're really attacking infrastructure. Everybody knows Route 6 downtown, I know, it's not easy getting through there. But again, our team, when the state came to us and told us they're gonna repave that, our team jumped in. The alderman, our engineering department, everybody said, we're not gonna let you put a brand new road over the top of a 100-year-old infrastructure. So we made the investment, a little over, I believe, $4 million from the post office all the way to the border of LaSalle, all new infrastructure. A lot of people ask why we ripped up this concrete. Again, our city engineer. We put a lot of the infrastructure now underneath the sidewalks so that if you have a problem down the road, you're not ripping up the road to replace anything that's going on there. So that's about it. I mean, there's a lot going on in Peru. We're continuing to grow, and that's kind of like the highlights there. So I'll pass it on to you.
Hello, I'm Melanie Thompson, Mayor of City of Spring Valley. I'm completing my 4th year.
No, just go. Okay.
I'm completing my 4th year as Mayor of the City of Spring Valley. It's hard to believe 4 years have passed already. We have so much going on in the City of Spring Valley, and I look forward to the opportunity to continue all the momentum we have in Spring Valley. Looking back on 2024, some of our accomplishments are that we have continued our city beautification initiatives. We're working on transforming our downtown into a space to be proud of. Last year, we initiated a Veterans Memorial Flag Program, copying off of the city of Peru. However, when we initiated the program, I thought maybe we'll get 50 veteran families that would like to have their flags displayed. When the final order came in, we had 175 flags that were ordered. Created a little bit of a problem. We didn't anticipate that and have enough space, but our city workers diligently started the work on a Thursday and had them up by Saturday, 175 flags that were absolutely beautiful. It was wonderful to see all of the veterans' names and their time that they served, and it was really something to be proud of in Spring Valley. Other things we've accomplished last year, we demolished an unsightly hotel building, and that is paving the way for new developments to occur there. We are trying to secure grant funding for enhancing the parking and rejuvenating the downtown even more. We have had 37 business owners in the last 4 years take advantage of our facade grants. And if you come to Spring Valley and take a look at the exteriors of our buildings in downtown, you will see a significant improvement. Last year, we completed a major sewer and road resurfacing project on 4th Street. We have a very active police department, and during the course of last year, we were able to secure a COPS grant in the amount of $125,000 to allow for the hiring of a school resource officer. This has also allowed us to place in Hull High School a full-time officer. Our state has mandated we must have body cameras, and we have secured a grant that covered over 95% of those camera costs. They have now been installed and are implemented by all of our officers. We just recently approved flock cameras, and they are in use, and they've already been able to solve several crimes that have occurred in Spring Valley, and they have increased our security level near our downtown district. We still have adjudication hearings in Spring Valley. Our council developed a hearing program that allows for our ordinances and violations to be heard in Spring Valley. This has reduced the need for a city attorney to have to go to the Bureau County Courthouse for hearings, and has allowed for settlement agreements to be put in place in case people do not wish to contest their violation. Our National Night Out program, we continue to have the tradition of that in the Kirby Park in August. Past year was very successful again, and it brings our entire community together. Our crime rate in Spring Valley has a 30% drop compared to last year. We've promoted 2 officers to sergeant and welcomed 2 new officers to our department. Our fire department successfully formed a fire district, and they are looking forward to being independent and bolstering their emergency response capabilities and the additional revenue sources that will be available to them. We continue to pursue opportunities for the I-80 corridor. It is not an easy task, but we do not give up, and we're optimistic someday in the near future we will see some activity there. The City of Spring Valley has the Safe Housing Program, and we continue our enforcement of rental registry compliance to make sure all of our renters have secure and comfortable housing. The Home Modification Initiative, we have launched our third round of that program, and that's been a very successful program for our residents. We have had no problems with that, and residents are enjoying improvements to their homes that is at no cost to them. Last year, the City of Spring Valley was awarded an OSLOD grant for the first time. This secures the funding for development of new softball and baseball fields at JFK School. We also added a pickleball court to Kirby Park. We have plans to continue to clean up Coal Miners Park, revitalizing this community space. We have seen an increase in economic activity that's led to a significant rise in sales tax revenue that has benefited our city. We have exciting plans for 2025. Our downtown mini park expansion has been approved. That you will see happening in the next week or so. We are constructing a facility that will have public restrooms and a concession stand, enhancing our concept of having a family-friendly atmosphere downtown. You've heard me talk about our community center, event center for 3 years now. I'm happy to announce we are in motion and are completing the interior remodeling. We hope to have that completed by August, so stay tuned for a grand opening celebration. Bardo Landing, another exciting topic. Yesterday, they began dredging on Bardo Landing that has been closed for quite some time. We were fortunate enough to take over the property from the township and are looking forward to opening that back up again for our community. This summer, we have things to look forward to. In May, we have Cinco de Mayo taco crawl by Grow Spring Valley. The park board has secured a Wilson's Family Show to host a carnival downtown. We will have a vendor fair down there, music, celebrations, and we hope to bring back the nostalgic 3-on-3 basketball tournament. We've also applied and are optimistic on the sidewalk grants. We're hoping to improve the sidewalks on Dakota Street to ensure safe routes for our children. Our growth encouragement and our ongoing efforts to stimulate business growth will drive Spring Valley's prosperity forward. We are very proud of the progress that we have made in the last 4 years. I attribute that to a very, very supportive council, a collaborative effort with our citizens, our employees, and our volunteers. We are fully committed to continuing the progress that we have seen. And if you are interested in learning more about what we have going on in Spring Valley, we're always available to reach us. We have new emails. I can be reached at mthompson@springvalleyil.gov. If you have ideas, we welcome your ideas. The more people we have contributing to the success, the better off we will be. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mayor Kolowski, before as well. A couple points that struck me. Borrowing ideas. I'm fortunate to sit with all of these folks prior to and listen to them talk, and to hear them ask each other, "Hey, how did you guys do this?" or "What was the plan behind this?" or it is great to see, and I think that as each of them and their council share those ideas with each other, it does make the area that much better. It allows each of them to grow in their own communities, but also as a region. So I appreciate you saying that, the borrowing of ideas. So thank you for that. Bardo Landing will be phenomenal once that's done, and if you haven't made it to a national night out in Spring Valley, I encourage you to stop by when they run that program. It is phenomenal. You get a ton of community out. There's just a huge energy and a great feeling of community at that event. So thank you for everything that you and your team have done in Spring Valley. Next up is the City of Oglesby, Mayor Curran. We'll pass the mic to him. So Mayor Curran, you are up to update us on Oglesby.
All right, thank you. All right, I'd like to thank Bill, Penny, and all the IVAC board for hosting us today. Also, thank you to everybody that's in attendance today to get some more details on your cities and what's happening in your region. I see that we got a lot of movers and shakers in the room, so I appreciate what you guys do every day. I know you guys are busy, so I'll get right to it. Okay, so here's what's been happening in Oglesby that got done really the past year. For economic development, we had our vacant building tour. It's the first time we had that vacant building tour in about 7 or 8 years. So we had about 14 different businesses. 2 of them were larger size businesses on the west side of town. The rest were in the downtown district. Because of that, we got Lincoln Bridge Financials there now, Two Brothers Diners in the old Jorge's location, and there's actually a couple other locations that are looking to do some stuff as well. So KEI Enterprises is a solar redistributor out of Minnesota. They're going into the old Badger-Minute building. They also build and repair large-scale industrial control panels. What is that important for? Well, they're telling us they're going to be bringing about 150 full-time jobs over the next 5 years. So that's pretty significant. We just signed a redevelopment agreement with them, so we're looking to partner with them and see what they can bring to the city here. Continues to be a challenge to attract big fish, right? I know we talk about we want to get that big industry that comes in that brings 1,000 full-time paying jobs. We've had a lot of nibbles, we've had a few bites, but we haven't landed that big manufacturing company yet that brings those full-time jobs to the area. And I know we're ripe for development, right, being off of I-39 there. So infrastructure this past year. Rising costs continue to be a concern. For those that don't know, back in 2019, we started having a federal mandate that we needed to get a new wastewater treatment plant. Our previous plant was about 70 years old. At the time in 2019, it was about $15 million to replace that. Those costs have risen to over $30 million by 2025 now. So up to this point, all the milestones have been met. There are a lot of them. One of them, for example, is the storm sewer separation project that we got some assistance from the county with their ARPA grants. Appreciate that. And plans have all been finalized. We're still working on a lot of different funding options. We're working with all the legislators. You know, just like everybody kind of mentioned before, costs are high. We're trying to find ways to make sure we can fund those. Electrical costs. So with electrical, started back in 2021-ish. The project was about $1.5 million. Costs have gone up to about $2.5 million. What we're looking to do is expand power on our west side for more industrial opportunities. And also the secondary effect is we're looking to get redundancy for the entire city for a power supply. There's very few cities in the state of Illinois that have a complete redundant power supply. So we're hoping when that happens, it's going to help us out, even attract more businesses to be able to come in. Looking to partner, we partnered with other groups. For example, We Are Oglesby. It's a great local business association. One of the things that they did this past year is they took over the winter parade completely. So for the last 3 years now that they created a winter parade, the city also hosted the city side of the events. And it's just fantastic that We Are Oglesby not only did the parade, the tree lighting, they coordinated all the downtown businesses. It's very exciting to see a business organization come together and start working on those things. We also have the Dickinson Foundation. So the Dickinson House, if those don't know, it's an older community center that has a very deep, rich history in our city. It's used as a polling place, rentals, parties for kids, has its own bowling center, hosts city events, but it was aging infrastructure. So they were able to put in a grant through the county, and they got an ADA compliant bathroom in there. I know it's really a small item, but what's important about that is when you have organizations trying to maintain these things, now we get more extended life out of that use for our community. All right, plans for the next year. Infrastructure. In addition to the wastewater treatment plant, the electrical stuff that's happening, hopefully we're going to be able to finish this year actually. So, well, at least on the electrical infrastructure. The wastewater treatment plant, I think, has to be completely operational by 2028. So we're going to continue to work on finding funding for that. Another thing that happened is we had a degraded bridge project that goes across our, the bridge kind of bisects the city from east to west. It had a failing deck beam. We were able to get something in with the county back in 2019, and it's finally come to fruition to where it's going to get paid for, and the grant's happening now. So save this city some money there. We're also looking to just a shout out to Mayor Ray Mabry, the wise and also so charming. Good to see you again, sir. He talks about a little bit about how when you have your entrances to your city, right, you really have to make sure that it's presentable. So we have I-39 that bisects our city right in half, and we've been waiting to try to get funding for quite a while to get our approaches repaired, and that funding hasn't come in. So we're biting the bullet this year, and we're gonna repair that so we can get that looking good. So further expansion on other events. Okay, so we know our biggest event we have is our 4-day Fun Fest, right? We're looking to expand that into a preview night. Well, what is preview night gonna be? The first thing it's gonna be is it's gonna be a special needs night. So other larger cities have done this before. So normally it's Thursday through Sunday. They're gonna come here on Wednesday, and before it gets dark, it's gonna be hosting just for special needs, right? So what does that mean, right? You're gonna have less lights, less people, there's no beer garden, there's no music, there's no noises, there's gonna be longer loading times for it. It's basically gonna be a way to give back to the community for those that wouldn't normally get to experience those things. Then when the sun goes down, it's gonna be the preview night. So when you have all these different opportunities for enjoyment and things like that, some families can't afford all the different things. So that night, because the time's gonna be more limited, the wristbands are gonna be at a severely discounted price, so it's another opportunity there to expand upon what we're bringing to town. So we're gonna continue to partner with other groups. For example, we are Oglesby. They're expanding on even more events in the city. They're expanding into bringing a car show in. They're gonna be doing multiple movies in the park. So why is this important? You know, I look at it as government's job is to spearhead opportunities, right? To push for economic growth, to bring these kinds of things. But when you get businesses that are successful, right, they're gonna bring more businesses and more success next to them. So you want them to be able to be self-sufficient to create these things. And I'm so happy that We Are Oglesby is stepping up and finding ways to sustain themselves to be able to do these kinds of things. We're going to continue to partner and at least review event schedules and stuff with our nearby neighbors. For example, Utica is known for their Purdue Festival, their Wine Walk, Peru, the massive TV Avengers show, Ottawa's Kris Kringle Market, Mendota's Sweet Corn Festival, and our Fun Fest. We want to make sure that we're not trying to put these events anywhere overlapping each other, right? Because our goal is to be bringing people into our region on a more regular basis, right? I want Mendota's Sweet Corn Festival to be super successful. I want the TBM Avengers, not because I'm a veteran, but just I want it to be amazing, right? Because when these things happen, we all benefit from that. Just like Bill said earlier, there's always something going on in our area, in our region, and that's what we can work together on. So we're continuing our long-term conversations with IDNR and their engineers for future expansion of Matheson State Park. For those that don't know, a couple years ago, they bought about 2,600 acres. It completely surrounds the northeast to the south side of Oglesby, about 2,600 acres. They're looking to bring 800 campsites, a BMX park, fossil park, fishing pond, and more hiking trails to include what I call the greatest waterfall in America that nobody gets to see. If we would have had a screen right here or something like that, I'd have that up in the background. This thing is majestic, and it's going to be one of the trails that they're going to create. It's going to be the end of one of the longest trails. It is the most beautiful waterfall I think I've seen in person other than Niagara Falls. It's amazing. So why do I say that? Why is that important, right? Right now, Starved Rock brings what? 3 million visitors to our area a year. I don't know what that's going to expand to when we get this thing completed, right? Is that going to go to 4 million, 3.5, 5 million? I don't know. There's only 350 million Americans in our country. If we bring 3.5 million Americans through our region, that's 1% of our entire nation is coming through our area every year. What an opportunity for us to expand on things. It's going to be huge. It's our jobs to lay the groundwork to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for that future success. As far as economic development, we're going to be continuing our, sorry, gotta try. That was weird. All right, we're going to be continuing our vacant building tour, coupled with our various incentive programs that we created locally. We're still questioning if we want to do it twice a year or just once a year. Obviously, 7 to 8 years is too long. We're going to continue to market ourselves not only for our extremely economical electrical power, at least compared to all of Illinois, because it's pricey out there. We're going to leverage our diverse and various incentive plans, our fiber optic network, our city finally achieves a complete redundant power supply, and our proximity to Matheson and Starved Rock for tourism. So the funny thing is, I know to my left, I got a lot of people running for their positions. There's nobody even up in the city of Oglesby for election right now. But we got this change of government referendum for city manager that's going on. You would think that it's the most political divide you've ever heard of. I do think economic development is what is driving our form of government. It's what's going to allow for Oglesby to grow the best. Mayor Grove talked about economic development. It's one thing to be able to try to just you try to be able to get people into your area. That's very difficult when you say you just want that. It really takes an aggressive means to get a team out there that's really trying to constantly bring people into the area. And I'll be honest, that's one of the things that Oglesby's kind of lacking. We need more aggressive work on that. All right, so we need to be able to strike at those opportunities a little bit more. However, divides or not, whether it passes or fails, regardless, right? The city is still dedicated to advancing all of these opportunities that we have, right? That being said, we got a lot of pokers in the fire for a lot of small opportunities. For example, there's a new business. I was hoping a couple weeks ago I was going to be able to announce it, and then I was hoping I was going to be able to announce it today. Just on last Monday, I got a chance to talk with the developer. The deal's not quite ready yet. They still haven't signed everything. So, but that's just one thing. Even though it's not going to be something like KEI where it's bringing 150 jobs to the region, it's going to be bringing lots of things that the citizens have really been wanting for a while. So lots of opportunities like that, and I'm hoping that as the year progresses, we're going to have a lot more announcements for some of the small development items we're having. All these things that we have that's going on that's fantastic in the city, that doesn't happen by itself, right? All the city employees, the workers, the community organizations, they all play a vital role in everything we do to make ourselves successful. So, all right, that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, you've heard multiple times now, long-term vision. This doesn't happen overnight, so long-term vision and a continued push. So appreciate the effort that happens there across the area. 2,600 acres, was that what you said, Mayor Curran? 2,600 acres?
That's the last I heard, yeah.
So 2,600 acres, we talk about ways that we can keep our day trippers in the area for longer. Expanding the access to those parks and making that a 2 to 3 day visit versus a 1 day, I think is a phenomenal opportunity for all of our communities to capitalize on, keeping those people overnight, collecting on those pillow taxes, driving them to retail and restaurant. So excited to see that move forward. I know it's not a quick move forward, but excited to see where that goes over the next few years.
Absolutely.
And with that, we will have our project manager from Mendota, Ms. Annie Short, close us out as far as community updates. So I will pass the mic to you.
So thank you, IVAC, for letting me stand in for the mayor, and he apologizes again. He had to be at an appointment. So some people ask, what is a project director? I always say I get to do all the projects that nobody wants to do or has time to do, so here I am. So I'm also fortunate to get to write and oversee some grants along with Allie Bradbury, who is here. So we've been very busy this last year, so I'm excited to be here to share some things that are near and dear to my heart. Our first is our Why I Love Mendota campaign. This initiative is all about shining a light on the good of our community, because there is actually a lot of good happening in Mendota. And don't get me wrong, we definitely have our challenges. We've had big companies leave. We've had some of our small business owners who have retired and left an economic impact into our community. And if you haven't heard, in 2022, we had 2 major devastating fires that have left 2 blocks of our downtown completely physically empty of buildings, and that really kind of left a lot of our residents feeling hopeless and depleted. And so with hardship, though, comes the hope, and as we say, we will rise from the ashes. And so in 2023, the City of Mendota, in partnership with a volunteer group of Reimagine Mendota, launched the Community Heart and Soul Grant initiative, and that was where volunteers spent quite a few months interviewing the residents of Mendota to ask them what they loved about Mendota and what they wanted for Mendota. And through that, they were able to survey 25% of the residents, representing all ages and demographics. And from that, we heard a lot of powerful things. And the biggest thing is that people still love our community. They are proud of it, they care about it, they really want great things for our future. And so that's where the Why I Love Mendota Why I Love Mendota campaign came from. And it was a great way for us to remind us that there is really great stuff in Mendota, and there's stuff to focus on while we rebuild and revitalize. So from that, we also were able to create this heart, word art. So all of the words in this heart are all the things that people love. And on your table, there is a QR code that is a link to our first video in our video series about Why I Love Mendota. And it's just a great video. It's inspiring, it's heartfelt, and you really get to see the hometown pride of our community residents. So I encourage you to check that out. But the campaign is just the beginning. The feedback from our community shaped our goals and continues to guide our actions. So with that, one of the things amazing out of all the stuff that they could point out in our community, our sidewalks and needing a bike path was one of those things that came out of it. So we were fortunate last year to receive a Safe Routes to School infrastructure and non-infrastructure grant. So in the fall or in the spring this year, we'll have new sidewalks being built around one of the schools, which is where the grant received for Lincoln School. And then we also are in the process of conducting walking audits to create a whole plan for a safe route for all of our students to attend each of the schools. We also are waiting and hoping that we will receive a grant that would actually create a bike path from the Amtrak depot train all the way out to our lakes, which is one of our greatest assets in our community. Another top priority is a pavilion and community space in downtown. So thanks to an EPA Brownfield grant that we received, we will be mediating the land that's on the west side of a block of where the first fires happened. And so that space will be the area that will showcase this new pavilion and gathering space downtown. We're also thrilled to announce that Black Brothers has generously pledged $100,000 for a dollar-for-dollar match to support the project through the Reimagine Mendota's Pavilion on Main Street fundraiser. Residents also wanted color, and they wanted us to find a way to support our arts, and it's coming. So we will have 2 new murals in our downtown area, thanks to a National Endowment of Arts grant that was received. And we also created a Mendota Arts Council this year that will continue that work beyond this grant. In an attempt to recruit new business owners and entrepreneurs to our community, which is also important for our economic growth for us and for the whole region, we have partnered with an organization who will provide coaching to business owners and to assist with business plans, marketing, website, and anything else that may be needed for them to succeed. We're also working closely with building owners to encourage new rentals and pop-up shops in their vacant storefronts. And we're hoping for a grant that would help us remodel one of the buildings from the second fire that would host a public market space and co-working space to attract even some of those businesses or some of those employees who would want to take the train in and enjoy our downtown. With all this, we are not forgetting our outdoor spaces. Blackstone Park will receive brand new playground equipment. Strauss Park just received an OSLAD grant to add another basketball court, another pavilion, and a larger playground. An 18-hole disc golf course is being installed right now and will be open this spring in Lake Kakusha. And with our boys soccer team taking 3rd in state, we're exploring upgrades and additional soccer fields at our Lake Mendota parks. Behind the scenes, we're also making major infrastructures like everybody else. Upgrades include repayment of streets, pipe replacements, and updates to our sewer plant. We know that with the grants, there's often a lag between funding and visible progress. And so people are like, nothing's happening in Mendota, but there's a lot going on. And so that is why we love the Why I Love Mendota campaign, as it keeps the energy going so that they know that there are great things in our community as we wait for the exciting changes to unfold with all these grants. And the truth is, Mendota is a great city, and we encourage you to meet us in Mendota to enjoy our lakes and our parks, and of course our Sweet Corn Festival that happens August 8th through the 10th, where more than 45,000 people attend, so be one of those. And we are hopeful that in the next few years that we will be a destination full of connections, opportunities, and continued community pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Appreciate the update and appreciate you, whether you were volunteered, voluntold, or whatever the case may be, joining us and providing that update. For those of you who are not aware, the QR codes are on your table. If you need help with scanning a QR code, ask your neighbor so you don't have 15 pictures of the QR code on your phone. But that video is out there. It's about a 3-minute video, I believe. It's a nice touch point for the city. Another piece that's been touched on across the table here are the volunteer groups in each of these communities. And I think that's huge. So if you are moved to do so, I encourage you to look into those volunteer groups, whether it is We Are Oglesby, Grow Spring Valley, Reimagine Mendota, the LBA, the downtown in Ottawa, there's several in Ottawa. Whatever it is, get involved, because those groups, you've heard from the leaders of these communities, they do make an impact on the community. So appreciate you all for sharing that. We do have a little bit of time left. There are some questions that were sent in, so we will get into those. There's 2 microphones on the table, and I'll have the third one here for you to answer. No particular order on these questions. If you feel moved enough to provide an answer, please jump in at any time. But the first question that we're going to get into is around need for your community, right? We talked about, each of these individuals talked about what they've done over the last year, what their plans are for the next year. And there's a big balance between community, your community members, drawing growth, growing industry. It's a balancing act. How do you keep all those plates spinning? But the question is, what do you see as the biggest need for your community, whether it's retail or industry or anything else? And what are your teams doing to make sure that you are following through, attracting these businesses, or doing what needs to be done to close the gaps that you see? So I'll open that up to any of you and ask you to provide the best answers that you can.
Well, I'll start by, I had to laugh when Mayor Grove and Bill mentioned a Canes, because I think Commissioner Eichelkraut has a reminder on his phone where the first of every month I get a text that says, we need a Canes. So we are exactly in the same boat in that regards as everybody else. Beyond that, one of the things that we talk about in Ottawa, which is not to take away from Peru, but we would really love to have a hardware store that's department size, like a Home Depot or a Menards or something of that nature. But that starts with more rooftops, which I think is probably one of our biggest needs in Ottawa. We have a very large shortage of homes available for people to buy, and our realtors tell us all the time that if we just had homes, they'd be able to sell them. So we're putting together a plan. Under the previous administration, there was infrastructure that was put in, Up 71, which allows us now to start looking at development of townhomes, duplexes, nicer homes, mix it in with some commercial of your average, your Walgreens and Chipotle's and all of those kinds of stores, kind of like what you would see on 71 as you continue to go up to Aurora. So that's been one of our focuses and how we plan to approach it, because we really think what's going to really be the catalyst to some of these larger stores that we all look to get is going to be more rooftops. We've looked at that Wenzel Road thing a dozen times, wanting to see how we could replicate it. So that's what we're mainly looking at.
Okay, I think for Utica, one of our biggest opportunities for growth would be on the north end of our city along Interstate 80. There's a lot of vacant area there. We have areas right at the roundabout that we've put focus on before. We've met with developers in the past, and we're continuing to do that, but we see that there could be a need there, mainly for a hotel. And as Mayor Grove said earlier, we can ask for that all we want, but it doesn't just fall in your lap. It's very hard to get those developers to come in and to commit to that kind of funding. So that is a major area of focus for us along that I-80 corridor. And Mayor Hasty just mentioned housing. Housing is a very hot topic when it's in Utica. I mean, if a house goes for sale, it's basically sold the day it hits the market, or even prior, if just by word of mouth. It seems like that we have a major opportunity to expand on our subdivisions. But again, this all comes with, TIF districts and way to incentivize developers, because again, the cost of doing all this, it's very hard for a developer to just come out and do that on their own. So that's where the city comes into play, and that's where we need to help them, and we need to make sure that we can utilize the tools that we have around us to make that area become successful.
Obviously, we're not going to be Route 251 or Ottawa, the main drag, where we have the big boxes. We're not going to have the sales tax. I wish we did, but we know that's not where we're at right now. So we have to be realistic in LaSalle. So basically, our focus is still going to be downtown, growing downtown, basically extending. We used to have one solid block. Now I'm pretty comfortable that we have 3.5, 4 solid blocks, basically between Buckland Street and now all the way to 351 Joliet. And now you see we're starting to take off to the east on First Street to Hennepin and now to Tondai Street. And that's just great, and that's what it's all about for us. And extending our music downtown, a couple more blocks that way. It's a nice amenity. We do have sales tax reimbursement incentive. We have RIP grant, which is your facade grant. So if I put $25,000 into the front of my building, obviously for curb appeal, obviously for just general appeal, I can get up to $12,500 back. We have TIF. So if I have $200,000 of expenses that are eligible for reimbursement, I can get up to that back in our TIF district downtown. So again, that's our focus. Obviously, we're still looking out to the old Thornton site, which was across the street from our Flying J. Unfortunately, we were up on the top 5 of Thornton spots for redevelopment. They got bought out, of course, right? So now that new group is not looking at that location right now. So again, we're kind of at the mercy of that new group. You know, what are they gonna do with that property? They're gonna get rid of it. I am excited a little bit that on the northwest corner of I-78, or is it 178? Sorry, and I-80, a local group of guys, developers bought that property, 42 acres. So we're hoping they're going to be pretty aggressive with that. Possibly bring some hopefully some retail sales tax to us in that location. But again, our main focus would be downtown, trying to create that small time shopping, which we all know is very special for this area, Ottawa, Utica, Peru, LaSalle, Oglesby. That's going to be our growth in LaSalle. And, you know, I want to give due credit to actually one of the other mayors, people running for mayors, is Gary Hammers. He's done a great job downtown, along with probably 30 other folks who've done a great job. It's really been amazing, the team down there. And the goal is when I became mayor, is to get an economic development director that kind of spearheaded these. These were available at the time, but nobody was pushing. Nobody was the contact. And I really appreciate the fact when Don Alexi was here 16 years ago, he started those programs and got it going, and now we have Curran to continue that, as well as our developers downtown. So that's kind of where we're at. Thank you for your time. A real quick side note, last year, who was here, we did Family Feud. Remember that? So Brent, Julie, bring out the big wheel. Oh, just kidding, just kidding.
Okay, as far as what we're trying to do to draw people in, we just make it very clear that Peru's open for business. It doesn't matter if it's a $100 million factory like GAF or Bab's Brew, downtown Peru. Sorry, Jason. It doesn't matter. We are welcoming. We want people to come. We want people to grow. We reinvented ourselves, as I think you guys were saying before. Portillo's, Chick-fil-A. First question, what's your population? I was at a show up in Chicago, and 5 guys said, well, hi, you're from Peru, great. What's your population? I said, what do you care? I said, I put money in the bank. I don't put population in the bank. You know, Peru, $750 million last year. You know, broke a record, right? $75 million in 1 month in retail in Peru. That's how you get their attention, with Popeyes, and they're, you know, following in. So it can be done, but you just got to sell it differently. That's the key. So thank you.
All right, just to tag along that, yeah, I agree, Ken. Bab's Brew is one of them, for example, we could always chat about. But so when people talk about the needs and wants, I'll kind of balance that a little bit. If you ask most residents what they want, they're going to talk about they want more services, they want more store fronts, they want more things that they can enjoy and stuff like that. However, what really needs to be met is a need, right? I'll give a tip of my hat to Mayor Finley from a couple administrations ago. He was able to get a grocery store to purchase land inside the city, but then when it came time to actually develop it here, they look at the market analysis and they go, well, we don't know if your community can really facilitate that or get that need. So we really need to be able to get more need when it comes to population. We need to be able to get those good, high-paying jobs that people want to relocate here. One of the things we've recently done, I think just about 6-7 months ago, is we approved a new incentive program to try to stimulate more new homes being built. So far, there's only been 2 houses that have utilized that program, though. But so really, it's about maintaining your needs for getting opportunities to get into your city, so you can capitalize on the things what people really want. And congratulations to Babs Brew. I think it's a wonderful place.
When the fish jump in the boat, you take them, right?
You're preaching to the choir. I don't know what to tell you.
So I think the first part of Bill's question was what are our needs for our town. I think our biggest need is for infrastructure assistance in Spring Valley. We have a lot of aging streets, aging water systems, aging wells. We need assistance with that, and that is hard to find. What is the city doing to try to help everybody? If you ask citizens, they want their roads fixed yesterday. We are doing our best. We've developed a plan that we rated all of the roads and sidewalks in the community and are working systematically year by year at tackling those projects. We have looked into a loan forgiveness program for these larger projects that we see a need for. As far as other things that the city's doing to promote growth, I think that the ability to open Bardo Landing is going to stimulate our economy tremendously. Not only Spring Valley, but I believe the surrounding towns will benefit from having that landing open. The hotels will benefit as well. So we feel that that is going to be the launch of stimulation for Spring Valley.
We had one that was working, so we took advantage of it. I get it. We've got time for probably one more question here. So the question, Ken had brought it up earlier around tourism, but there were quite a few folks that were asking about tourism when we asked for these questions. And it's kind of a multi-part question, but it is, what can our communities do to capitalize on the tourism industry that we have in our region? Is there a need for a more regional approach, whether it's a local regional convention and visitors bureau? Is it greater utilization of the Heritage Corridor Destinations Group? Or are there other specific things that you've talked about with your teams? Again, I know Ottawa has got a visitor center that does a ton for Ottawa. But what are ways that we can capitalize on the tourists that do come here as a region and really keep them here over that one-day stay, right? How do we get them to stay overnight, and what are opportunities that you all see?
I think, as we've heard today, all our surrounding communities have a lot of wonderful things going on inside of their city. And if we could form a pact with one another that we all work together in promoting one another, I think that would truly be an asset to our area.
Kind of to follow up on that, I would say yes. Working with your local communities is also a very good resource to have. I know all of us up here have had separate conversations with each other at one time or another about certain things. As far as trying to get people to stay here that extra night, you know, that's one of the things where I think advertising comes into play and utilizing your resources. You know, look at your grant opportunities out there for tourism, see what's available out there. And for us, you know, we were able to apply for the rebuild grant, and now I believe we do have something that's going to allow people to stay here and not only visit Utica, but visit these other communities. You know, we're all within a 20-minute driving distance of each other. So I think that's one way to look at it. And we also have the visitor center located right in our village hall, so we do work with them a lot when it comes to advertising. But advertising and promoting this area, I really believe several hours away is key, because if you're just driving from, you know, I guess 80 and 39, you're an hour from a lot of metropolitan cities. That's a day trip for them. If you mark it farther away, 2.5, 3 hours plus, most of them will probably feel the need to want to stay the night, maybe 2 nights, and they will find more to do by doing that. So I think advertising is a big key.
So Bill had mentioned our Ottawa Visitor Center, which I think does a phenomenal job, not just for Ottawa, but for the entire region. One recent example we've been partnering with WGN, with television and radio. Recently, when the Blackhawks were playing the Ottawa Senators, WGN had an Ottawa, Illinois night. And the immediate response on that was some of our business owners that were mentioned within that had people in their stores the next day saying, hey, we heard you on the radio with John Williams this morning, or we heard you last night, in regards to while we were watching the Blackhawks game. A lot of that has to do with our hotel motel tax being used with the visitor center, and then partnering that information or developing that partnership with our CVB. Full disclosure, I am on the Heritage Corridor Destination Board, so I'm a little bit biased towards what they can accomplish. But I know that with the center that we've got there in Utica, the numbers that we see as a response as to people stopping into that visitor bureau and then what they're doing within that community, I think is what's going to grow everything. In regards to how to keep people here, I think it's by developing things that make people have to or want to spend the night. It's real easy to drive down here for an hour and a half, walk Starved Rock for a couple hours and then drive back to wherever you're, from whatever community you're in. But if we can do things that make people see something and say, well, let's stay and wait for that, you can hook them into staying the night. So examples that we have in Ottawa right off the bat would be the St. Genevieve. They do a sunset cruise. A lot of folks after that crew liquors you up for a couple hours, you're not going to be driving home. You're going to be finding a hotel there in Ottawa. And there's examples like with your market that you're putting together that someone might drive through and see that while they're on their way to Starved Rock and then want to stop on their way back. So I think the key for us keeping people there is developing these things that can be done that once they see it or they know about it and they're at Starved Rock, they're going to want to come back and say, hey, let's stop here, and then next thing you know, they're spending the night because it's easier to drive back in the morning.
We get some visitors for our Illinois Mission Canal boat. We also for the Hegler Curris Mansion tours. But I think a lot of our visitors are coming as residual from Utica, from Ottawa, from Starved Rock, Madison Park. And one thing we're looking at doing is everybody here has probably been to Galena at one time or another. The key, I think, in Galena is when you go up there, it's usually a weekend, right? Because everybody's working during the week. If you notice they're downtown, a lot of their stores are open on Saturday and Sunday. A lot of our businesses downtown LaSalle are family run. So it's family members. So they're putting their time in 10, 12 hours, Monday through Friday, and then also probably maybe Saturday for a couple hours. But we're missing out, I think, on Saturday afternoon and potentially some Sunday hours. So one thing I'm projecting to do is, again, we had the facade grant, we had the TIF, we have sales tax reimbursement, is kind of like a payroll grant where these businesses would basically apply and say, LaSalle, we'll make the commitment to stay open 6 weekends, and then we would basically help pay for maybe minimum wage position for 12 hours that weekend, just to try to assist in that, instead of say, hey, I really don't need a brand new facade, but I could use maybe some extra cash for payroll. I'm working with my family every day here. It'd be nice to have somebody else be here when I'm not here, but still have the store open. So that's one thing we're looking at. But I think we have to be ready for them when they come here. And I think that's one thing for the city of LaSalle is like some people say, hey, that's great, but the store was closed. And I think you have to be ready to grab those folks when they're here the first time.
Yeah, I touched on this in my opening statement. It was
The 3-year extension that we put together with the Pistol Shrimp. Alderman Tiemann and Adam Thorson sat down and negotiated this thing. And the one thing that we got, and Bill Zenz, you helped me with this device right here is amazing. Bill got me the data. It tells you where people are coming from, how long they're staying, where they're going afterwards. So when you see the data, somebody's coming from Marseilles to a ball game, and then they're going to a local restaurant. That's why it was so important that these guys got this 3-year extension with the Pistol Shrimp. And then also, you're also investing into the small businesses. I mean, a lot of advertising dollars when you see those banners from like Debo's and Mr. Sparkle or Igloo. They're using their advertising dollars to draw people to their businesses. So by us supporting the Pistol Shrimp, it's helping the small businesses to bring people in. But again, Bill, the data he gave me from these cell phones everybody, they know where we're all at right now, believe me. It's actually frightening, Bill. But that was the biggest thing that we've done for tourism. So.
I'll just share too, with us having Amtrak in Mendota, we've talked about that a lot in terms of, first of all, we have to build up our downtown and our amenities so people would want to come visit Mendota and stay. But also, how do we then use that to leverage maybe two, and I know we talked about this the other day, of, you know, having a tour bus that would then go to Starved Rock or to go to LaSalle and utilize the tracks that are getting people here, because it's a quick trip to Chicago, that it's an untapped market that we're not fully utilizing, not only for Mendota, but for the whole region too.
Just going to touch on a couple things there. The first thing, so what Ken mentioned, IVAC has a great tool. Is this thing beeping? I don't know. Anyways, dying here. It's dying over here. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. Give me the other one. All right, there we go. Okay, so IVAC's got a great tool that looks at a lot of macro data of the cell phone, stuff like that. I was able to take those reports and stuff like that and reach out to many, at 19 different, well, I don't want to go over who it was yet because that's hopefully going to be released in a couple weeks, but using those kind of tools that we have at our disposal and stuff like that. The other thing I wanted to make a quick mention of, so every other month there's a Mayor's Association dinner. That's kind of where we get an opportunity to get together, talk about different ideas, and there was an idea that I was going to float, so it's kind of, I'm doing it here now though, so we don't have one in April because April usually everybody else has some kind of a election or something like that, so it's the only one we don't necessarily meet on. So I just saw this a couple weeks ago at the 80 and 55 interchange. I think there's something that promotes LaSalle County. There's a big billboard. So one of the things I was going to float the idea is, somebody made a mention of if something an hour or two away, I think we need to have something that's highlighting all the different events that we have. So whether it's the week before TBM Avengers or Kringle Market or Sweet Corn or Fun Fest or something like that, that way we go in on something that we have something that we're advertising to bring people into the area. I know this was a conversation for another dinner, another time, but just kind of hit me, so.
Well, I appreciate the everybody. Appreciate the time and effort that you put into preparing for today. Thank you to all of you again for being here. I know that it's a big ask to take a couple hours out of the middle of the day, but with that, we are at 1:53. So uncommon for me, we'll finish before 2 o'clock and give you 7 minutes back. You're welcome, Curtis. But thank you all for being here. If you have any questions, these folks are always open to conversation. The chamber is always open to conversation, and we're excited to see this community continue to change and grow for the better. So thank you all. Thank you to everybody up here, and everybody have a great day.